Welcome to Think Future. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and once again we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when no show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcasts. I'd greatly appreciate it. So now, a couple Fridays ago, I published my latest book, 9 Rules for the Future, Plan for Humanity by Humanity, along with ChatGPT, and like a lot of pushback on this for some reason. I got a lot of pushback. I got complaints saying, the guy can't even write his own book. I've written books before. I have a book right there. Of course I can write books, but I did it this way on purpose. Because I think I mentioned to you before, is that I've been playing with ChatGPT, and I'm impressed by what ChatGPT can do. But at the same time, there are things that are missing from what ChatGPT can do. But the thing I found most interesting is when I was playing with this stuff, and this is the same thing that I came across when I did a podcast with a couple of friends of mine talking about generative AI, which aired last Wednesday, that all it really seems to be a huge reflection on humanity. Because we try to make the thing creative. We try to get the thing to do something creative. But it always seemed to be a reflection of humanity, a reflection of society. And that's when I thought, if it is truly a reflection of society, then why can't we leverage it as an example of what society might want? So that's why when I did write this book, I wrote the outline for the book, and then I had it write the chapters in the book. And it was really interesting what it came up with. For example, I have a chapter in there on abundance and how so often we keep thinking about how limited things are on this planet. But it came out and said, it's a misconception that things are not abundant on this planet, that we don't have abundant food, that we don't have abundant fuel. There's abundance everywhere. The only reason why this abundance isn't properly distributed is kind of like William Gibson's quote, the future's already here, it's just not evenly distributed. The abundance is not evenly distributed, and the abundance is not evenly distributed mostly due to humans fighting against each other. We want humans to be against each other. It's easy to have tribes attack each other. It's easier to foment the hatred between tribes than it is to solve the big human problems. I see this all the time, and one of the reasons what triggered me to write this was because we were talking to people about solving the big human problems, and not a lot of people want to solve the big human problems. They want the low-hanging fruit. And I talked about this before. But yeah, a lot of feedback was, it's no good. I'm not going to buy that book. And first of all, I didn't set the price for this book. It's $5. Okay? This is basically the paper it's printed on. I'm not making any money off this. Plus, you can read the entire thing on 9rulesbook.com on the website, or you can download the Kindle version, which is the same price. So I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because I want to come up with solutions to improve humanity. I want us to stop our petty bickering and figure out how we can all work together to make things better for humanity. And that's why I thought maybe leveraging ChatGPT, which is a reflection of humanity, which is a reflection of society, might help me to write this book. So basically, I feel like I wrote this book with all of you who ever interacted with ChatGPT helped to write this book. This book was written by you, in addition to everybody else. And I asked ChatGPT afterwards, because I had that criticism, and I thought to myself, okay, what do you think? Do you feel that you are a reflection of humanity, reflection of society? And it said, I don't feel that I'm enough of a reflection on society because I still have a limited data set. And if you think about it, that's true. The data set that ChatGPT is running on, even though it's vast, it's still limited because it doesn't have the sum total of human knowledge. It doesn't have the sum total of humanity, of everything that we've ever created inside of it. And I also said in previous shows that one of the reasons why it can sometimes be outrageous is because we communicate in outrageous ways to become more attention-seeking. We don't reveal our true personalities when we communicate a lot. A lot of times we have facades. And it's this facade that ChatGPT is reading that is helping it to create its picture of what humanity wants. So it's interesting that I'd get that feedback. But the other thing I'm going to do with this book is that it's going to be an agile book, which means this is V1. V1. And as I get feedback, as ChatGPT learns, and as there's more information coming into this, I'm going to continue to revise and change and create new versions of the book based on the size of the corpus that they create for ChatGPT. So if more of human society's output goes into it, the more and more of human society output that goes into it, the more and more it'll act like a reflection on human society. And I think we shouldn't be very selective as to what goes in it. I think we should just take everything that goes into it. Everything that humanity creates, good and bad, should go into this thing. Because only when we feed the entire corpus of human information, the entire corpus of human intelligence into this thing, do I think we're actually going to get interesting answers that surprise us. Because if you think about it, right now, it's sort of a small corpus of people who are interested in the topic. This language model has been created by people who are into language models and understand language models, and maybe they're more technical than your average person. So we need our average person's intelligence to be in there. We need the entire human race to somehow contribute to ChatGPT, to help it to understand all the various facets of society and the various facets of humanity. Because once we get closer to that, now I don't think you have to have every human being. Not every human being needs to be represented here. But there's a certain tipping point. There's a certain percentage of humanity. I don't know what it is, whether it's 50%, 30%, 50%, 8% of humanity is represented in ChatGPT somehow. Then maybe we can actually get a truly accurate, or at least a little more accurate, mirror on society. And once we get that more accurate mirror on society, then it should be easy to ask it, what should we do about this? What should we do about that? Because a lot of times nowadays when you ask it a complex question like, what should we do about homelessness? Then it goes on saying, well, there's various discussions on homelessness. Well, maybe if enough people put their preferences into it, maybe it could come back with a more succinct answer. Maybe it could come back with some more agreement among all of us in the human race. Maybe if we gave it more of ourselves, it'd actually be able to come up with some solutions for us that maybe we haven't thought about, that we haven't figured out yet, that it can put together based on the juxtapositions that it creates based on what we've told it to do. Because it has been able to come up with some creative solutions. So maybe it can come up with some creative solutions that'll help us. Even if it doesn't come up with a solution itself, it'll help us to figure out the ultimate solution, the thing that will actually solve the big, hairy human problems, the ones high up in the tree. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.